This is Montenegro's first ever motorway, and thanks to a huge loan scandal, it's now become the country's highway to hell. 40 bridges and 90 tunnels are expected to be built and financed by the Chinese. The project has been hit by corruption allegations, construction delays and environmental tragedies. Today, of the planned 170 kilometers, just 40 have been completed.
Montenegro is building one of the most expensive motorways in the world. It's financed by a Chinese loan. Paying back this money is creating problems. Is Montenegro stuck in a Chinese debt trap? Let's find out.
The story begins with former Prime Minister and current President Milo Đukanović. He conceived the motorway to boost trade in the small Balkan country. Lacking funds to start construction, he accepted a $1 billion loan from China in 2014. Other investors didn't want to get involved. Now, with the pandemic crushing Montenegro's tourism-dependent economy, the country just cannot finance the missing stretches of road. So is this becoming the highway to nowhere? The motorway should link Bar Harbour in the south to the border with Serbia in the north. The first section, in red on this map, was scheduled to be finished in 2020, but it still isn't. We visit Bojan. Politicians promised lorry drivers like him that the motorway would create thousands of jobs, but Bojan got nothing. The Chinese contractor brought in its own workers. Bojan also knows of subcontractors hiring illegal workers from neighbouring countries, workers with no contracts or social security contributions.
I'd have preferred them to choose Europe for this loan. If Europe made it, it wouldn't be like this without rules. It's like being on a market, like on a bazaar. No papers, only words. This is because they worked with the Chinese and Croats. If Europe was here, there would be more checks and the construction would be done by now. They stole 10%. That's 100 million euros. That's how much they need now to complete just this first section.
We met the deputy project manager of the state-run China Road and Bridge Corporation, CRBC, in charge of construction, but he refused to comment. On the road to CRBC's headquarters, we see graffiti that says, "Milo, you are a thief," referring to the president's alleged links to local subcontractors. Many Montenegrins are clearly upset. An NGO backed by the EU is investigating the corruption allegations involving subcontractors. Dejan Milovac is part of the team digging the dirt on the motorway project. Out of this huge loan, 400 million euros were given to subcontractors. Milovac says some are linked to the president.
If I get it right, there were no public tender procedures for the subcontractors.
There was no public procurement procedures for the subcontractors. Most of the project was declared as a state secret. All the benefits that CRBC received, like no VAT or no taxes on labor or no customs on imported goods, was also applied to the subcontractors with absolutely no control. There was a huge opportunity for corruption. There was a huge opportunity for abusing the benefits.
More and more citizens here are fed up with corruption. Last year they voted in a new government. Today's Deputy Prime Minister has a solid reputation as a fighter for transparency, a precondition to bring Montenegro closer to the European Union.
Are you considering that there is a problem with kickbacks, with corruption linked to this highway contract?
What we can do is to open all the documents, make the monitoring, and if we find something which is problematic, just to give to the special prosecutor for the formal proceeding.
That's interesting. So there will be an investigation.
I am more than sure that yes, everything what's happened around this project was pretty untransparent.
Today we just have a part of the highway. Who will finish? Who will complete this missing part?
That is what we ask in the Brussels. And I am more than sure that we will find some solution for the financing from European institution for that, this another two parts.
What kind of change is needed now?
Our country needs to provide more rule of law. That is the problem. That is the biggest issue for us, fighting against organized crime and corruption.
Some fear that China has its eyes on Bar's deepwater harbour. When signing the billion-dollar loan with China, Montenegro agreed to some strange terms, like giving up sovereignty of certain parts of the land in the case of financial problems. Arbitration in this scenario would take place in China, using Chinese laws. A long-term harbour concession would fit nicely into China's Belt and Road Initiative, a global infrastructure project to access markets. Harbour authorities in Bar are hoping for an economic upturn and have plans for 2 new terminals.
Our principal objective, business objective for the period of the next 10 years is to get a port of regional importance. So in sense of having more cargo, more industrial trade activities and so on.
The Chinese-managed motorway isn't just mired in cronyism allegations, it's also accused of damaging the protected Tara River Valley. Natasha Kovacevic, a member of the ecology group Green Home, monitors it. She says the results are disastrous. Sediment from the construction site is trickling into the water, preventing the fish from spawning.
We devastated the most important part of the Tara River, which means that we make it unlivable for the fishes, and now they are not going to be, at least for the next 20 years or even more. Some of them will never come back.
Chinese managers are accused of ignoring basic EU standards, and Montenegro is criticised for failing to supervise construction correctly. Rubble has changed the Tara riverbed, perhaps irreparably.
This is incredible because it says that the river Tara is UNESCO protected and that it's forbidden graveling of the soil and sand, and that it's forbidden landfilling of the soil material and fish, which is exactly everything that we found here. It says, please keep this area clean. This is just unbelievable.
All over the Western Balkans, Chinese investment has slowed down EU-compatible reforms. China's Silk Road ambitions are not always in line with EU standards of good governance, environmental protection, rule of law, and transparency.